Hey there. I know it's really late. And so those of you watching live, yay. But if you're not watching live, then that's okay too. Because I've been wanting to say about being enough. I'm doing this masterclass next week on becoming enough. And I kind of wanted to just delve a bit deeper into what and why that's important. Because not feeling good enough, thin enough, everything enough really stops us enjoying everything about life in general. And when we have these repeating stories of the not enoughs, which you might or might not even know they are there. I mean, how they come out is that you end up maybe having something really great relationship, great job, and then jeopardizing it if you have things keep going wrong some way, or you have the sinking feeling that, oh, they're going to dump me, or oh, they're going to find out that actually I can't really do this job, or oh God, it's a bit, oh. And so you're eventually going to get to the not enoughs, because if you don't feel good enough, you're going to end up jeopardizing it all anyway. So when you realize that you've got all these sort of stories of I'm not good enough, or they deserve better than me, or all of these kind of the enough stories that I can't tell you, every single client I have in group sessions, in one-to-ones, they have this either unworthy vibe. There's a vibe, there's a belief somewhere in everybody's about the lack of worth and the lack of being enough. And when you conquer that, not only do you start being successful immediately, because it's not necessarily depending on what you deem as success, but you actually don't have all of the head fucking mind monkeys going on, because you haven't got the script running in the background all the time. Because when you aren't enough, and when you have something that's saying I'm just not good enough, you're always looking for reasons subconsciously to back that up. And it kind of can cloud just day-to-day stuff. So rather than you taking, you go about your day, you're doing your job. So people who have kind of lost that not enoughness, if they're not buying into it anymore, and they've worked on that story of not worthy, or not enough, or not good enough, not fast enough, not thin enough, not handsome enough, not pretty enough, whatever it might be. When they're not running that, other things just don't matter as much. So you think, oh, I'm not rich enough. Well, who cares? And I buy what I can. Not bothered what people think. You don't care so much what other people are thinking of you. Other people are thinking of you. You actually just care what you think of yourself, and you focus more on your journey and your life through it. Because the not enoughs, seriously, they take up a lot of headspace, and you end up worrying and thinking about what other people are thinking of you. Because if you're not good enough, then that actually comes from your fear of not being good enough for that person, to talk to that person, to spend time with that person, or is that person not good enough for you? Because it can happen the other way around. Do you shun people because they're not at your level? That can be, some people say that's quite like a narcissistic kind of trait, where you'll have the other people just aren't good enough to be with you. But it also can be a trauma response to protect yourself from whatever it is. But anyway, when you aren't good enough for them, they aren't good enough for you, you spend a lot of time in a lot of places that you actually have no control over anyway. So I can't control what people think of me. If people don't like me, I don't actually mind. I think what people who want to resonate with me do, and vice versa. But when I was really living in my, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough to help people do this. So I spent a lot of time worrying about how good I was, or how much I could give somebody, or how much they would accept from it, or all this stuff. When actually, when you're enough, you just show up 100% authentically, 100% visibly, and you don't have all that head stuff going on. So whatever your route to success, whatever success means to you, a massive part of not getting there is the not actually being worthy, or not actually being good enough, not being something enough, just not good or worthy or anything enough to receive the success you desire. So in one way or another, it won't happen, because you will, in some way or another, call in the internal saboteur to stop you having what you desire. So when you clear the enough problem, when you become enough, the power you have then is mind-blowing, and you have a lot more capacity in your brain for thoughts that are yours, not thoughts that could be somebody else's. So I hope I've explained a little bit about that. It's very close to my heart, because I was like, I'm never one of my big beliefs was, I'm never going to be good enough. And so I was never a good enough wife. I was never a good enough parent. I was never good enough at this. And any peers I ever have. So I was, before I did the job I did, and actually now I work a lot of the time alone, but I create colleagues that do what I do. But I was always very concerned with being judged by my peers. So so all my jobs were very much, I'll work on my own. I don't really have any peers. I want to work on my own. So I was things like that. So I was actually, I was an area sales manager. I drove around doing my own thing. I didn't have anyone to pit against. They couldn't judge me because they weren't to do with me. And so it dictates your whole life when you aren't enough. And when you become enough, you just don't worry so much about stuff. So even when because you become enough, and then the three-dimensional the world kind of kicks in and follows you up. So it can take a while for actually what you do desire to come in. But I promise you, that's why I'm doing the Quantum Success Code, and that's why I'm doing this. Sarah just said, feels like such a mountain to climb. It can feel like a mountain to climb, and it's one that when you truly know what your not enough is, because it's never not enough. There's always a deeper connection with the not enoughs. There's always more than I'm not worthy enough to do what, I'm not good enough. Mine was, I'll never be good enough for anybody to love me. I'll never be good enough to get my desires met. I'll never. And every single time, I remember a boss once said to me, he says, Lucy, you don't just want to be the girl who had potential. Because that's what I did. I was amazing at every job I ever did. And then I went and fucked it up just before promotion. Literally every single time I was not enough. I was always pipped to the post. I was the best they had, because every job I've done, I've been incredible at. I'll own that. Every single job I've done, but I was pipped to the post because I screwed myself over. I did stupid things like, what did I do once? I once got really drunk with a client. You didn't do took a client out for a couple of drinks and it was absolutely wasted. And I was like, you can't do that, Lucy. I'm like, oh, whatever. And that cost me a promotion, but I knew it would. Do you know what I mean? Because becoming enough does not resonate with you anymore. I know. I refused to wear black shoes, knowing that my red stiletto suede boots were not part of that. I said no. So if you can't even comply with that, I'm like, I'm never going to comply with you telling me what to wear. So yes, I could have complied. Yeah, you might say, oh, you could have complied, but did it matter so much? But I made sure I was never going to fit in. I was never going to be enough. And maybe that helped me, and it obviously did. But like, it can absolutely riddle you. And it's not so much what it stops you doing. It's not just that. It's the space it takes up in your head. That's the problem, because you are constantly judging what you're doing. You are constantly second guessing if it's good enough. You are constantly, and I even had at the beginning of this year think, oh my God, I'm homemaking my kids. I'm never going to be enough for that. I show up for clients. Am I even good enough to do that? And, you know, it's become really clear that I really need to help people get over this bloody quickly. And that's kind of why I'm doing the Quantum Success Code, which is one-to-one and like group coaching. But before that, I'm doing the masterclasses on becoming enough, because I'm like this. It just came to me that I needed to do it. So I'm doing that on Monday, twice on Monday, for some bizarre reason. I'm showing up twice on Monday because I'm actually thinking of doing more daytime courses. I don't know why. I'm better at night. No. Anyway, so I know it can feel like a mountain to climb, but also we've got to remember that these not enoughs are so helpful to us for keeping us from getting hurt. Yeah, I can't tell you now, like Sarah. So I've known you for some time, but when I think, oh goodness, I've not got enough clients, I've not made enough money, I think, oh, okay, whatever. Like, it'll be all right, because it always is. So what am I going to do about it? Worry about not being enough, or like do something about it? Like, it literally, rather than this kind of riddle, rather than this kind of this dragging down of like, oh my God, this is just so much. Just think, well, okay, so where am I going to be? And when you kind of start releasing that not enough, the caring about what you're going to do, or oh my God, it's not enough, the relief for your brain and your heart and your soul is just mind-blowing. So it's that's why becoming enough is incredibly important. So if anything I've said with you vaguely resonated, I'm coming live on Zoom for free, just one of my masterclasses, but it should be really great. Very intuitive masterclasses. They're probably going to be quite different, I would imagine, because one's catching me in the morning, the other one's catching me at night. So and hopefully I've napped in between. That's all I can hope. So come along and start becoming enough, because it's really important, and it lets you have more fun, and it lets you worry less, and it lets you be very, very authentically you. Because if you're not good enough, you don't show up as yourself. You're not actually being honest with who you are and true to who you are, because how can you? Because you're not good enough to do that. So the not enoughs, man, they will plague every single aspect of your life, and it's the headspace, it's the mind fuck that it will give you that's the problem. But what I've really come to terms but understood, is that all of these parts of us, they are part of us, and we have to recognize them and know that when we do up level our life, they are going to be there in a different aspect. But actually, when we see that we're being stopped by this layer of not enoughs, we know we're getting to the next up level point. We know we're progressing. So we recognize it, shake its hand, and say, I see you. And a big thing that I learned when I went through my really dark moment about 3 months ago, Darkest Night of the Soul was incredible now, was to embrace those parts of you want to hate. And when you embrace that version of you, that little version of you that never felt enough, because I can guarantee not enough actually can be quite very childlike. You think, I'm just not good enough. You think even the language is quite childlike. So when you actually learn to embrace that little version of you and go, oh my God, you are so enough, everything changes. And that's the thing. We have to think about these beliefs and these intrinsic parts of us. We have to see them in a very different way, in a part of us that we can heal almost instantly, forgive and love. And when we do that, we can come from a place of love for ourselves with everything that we are and everything that we are not. And it's a very powerful place, because not only do you then do that for yourself, you command that from other people, the people who can't accept you for who you are don't even come into your field. So that's when I talk about like quantum stuff, I'm talking about field energy work, as in the energy field around things where we collapse time and space. And that's what when I talk about quantum, is like fucking amazing. If you don't know about quantum physics and mechanics, I'm not the best person to explain it. I think I've really spelled that out before, but that's how I work. I work now very much in the field where it doesn't really exist, all that shizzle doesn't really exist. We're not working in the here and the now. We're working with versions of you that are holding on to it, and that you're there deep down inside, and very quickly we can heal that. And I know, because not only have I done it for me, but I've done it for other people, but I very recently have realized the power of it even more. So like people like me and you, if you're healers and you're mentors and stuff, you get a lot of opportunities to grow. And I've had a load of opportunities to grow recently, and you get a lot of opportunities to kind of grow and learn through like massive exodus of personal trauma. And then you figure out, I could talk for me, I've figured out and kind of embodied exactly how I can help others do that too, and kind of ignore the fact everyone says time is a great healer, and kind of drives me nuts, because time has got nothing to do with healing. Time is not a great healer at all. What time does is time is a great dweller. Time is a great ruminator, and time is a great sitting in maybe energy that you don't need to be sitting on. What's a great healer is collapsing time and healing on a level where time doesn't really even matter. But sitting with stuff for too long, there's a point of when you sit with your pain and you sit with your aloneness and you sit with the hardness, and there's a time when you go, no, this, and a lot of people assume that, oh, time, that'll get you over it. No, it won't. All that'll do is keep the beliefs going strong and actually give you more time to make it even more valid. So the longer you sit with a really, really tough belief about yourself or the world, the longer you sit with it, the longer you actually have a chance to prove it's right. So anyway, listen. No, don't listen. I say that, and I thought, oh, why do I say that? Actually, I really don't want to say no, do listen, because that sounds very teachery. I love showing people my discoveries and hoping it resonates so they can make discoveries too. And I would love to see you on Monday and discuss becoming enough, and see if very quickly you can feel more worthy in about an hour and a half than you did before, because that's how quick that's how quick it can be. And I would really hope that you come on and actually you do some permanent healing work in that hour and a half, and go away feeling better. Most of my masterclasses people love, but this is a bit different, and it will lead on to the opportunity to do the Quantum Success Code, which is actually working one-to-one with me, which I never do in courses, but I've decided that people are going to want quantum success. It's going to be so personal. Success is so personal. So I've got one person, all different people who are on it at the moment want very different things. Hey Jules, want very, very different things. But success is different, looks different to them, but it doesn't matter. Success in relationships, success in business, success in self-validation, success in putting yourself out there. It doesn't matter what the success is, it works the same. So yes, the becoming enough is going to lead on to people who want to work even more. But if you come along on Monday, either 9:30 or 8, you will feel more worthy, more enough after an hour and a half than possibly any work you've done up to that. That would be what I'd assume would happen, that you will actually feel more valid, more enough, more worthy in your own, everything you are right now in an hour and a half, because an hour and a half in quantum is forever anyway. So anyway, I am going to go to bed because I'm going to Legoland. I'll drop the link for you, Jules. I think you've already registered, actually. I have a feeling, Julie, you might have already registered, but I'll drop the link below this, no problem. I hope you can come. I'm really excited because I'm only allowing a certain amount of women in. It's a women's only. Nothing against boys, nothing against you at all, but this is going to be a sacred space for women who need to be vulnerably healing. That's where so not the masterclass is open to anybody, but the actual so yeah, everybody needs to feel more enough, but the actual quantum success code is going to be specifically for women, and specifically for women who want to get vulnerable and want to get very connected to the other 20 women in that kind of container. It's a very intense one-to-one and groups, and very, 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 very focused on a specific part of your life to get to success. Anyway, but before that, come and see how enough you can be. I just did a rhyme in 19 minutes past midnight, and I had a 13-minute nap. 13. And you know what time Max was up this morning? Having a chat. 4:39. 4:39. I was getting chatted to by Max. Just saying. I'm a fucking legend. Oh, one more thing. Apparently, when you look at all the baby apps, the baby has grown 10 centimetres in a week. Now, I don't know. That's a week. I know. I know. 10 centimetres. We're saying wow to the baby centimetres, or wow to the volume of time I've been up with only 13 minutes napping in the afternoon. Napping with Max lying on my hip. Just saying. Anyway, this is 10 centimetres in a week. I think there's a glitch in the baby app. Anyway, I digress permanently. Have a great night, and I love you, and I'll drop the link below. Also invite your mates, because everyone should feel enough, in my opinion. So the nap. If you've seen the size of me, if you came onto the call earlier, I was doing a call, but then I actually went and did all the post-it note challenge on there, and I was full. You saw me full babyish, babied up. I've got a massive bump. It's insane. Anyway, yeah, invite your mates along too. That'd be really amazing. Invite your mates along to Becoming Enough, because you all deserve to become enough. Mwah. I love you lots. See you soon. Have a great night's sleep. And if you catch you in the morning, have a good day. Bye now.